Yo, what's up people? Shinigami here. Today we're doing a Dark Dragon Synchros tier list. So these are all 34 Dark Dragon Synchros that currently exist in the game of Yu-Gi-Oh! These are all cards theoretically we can summon in Red Dragon Archfiend, that's why I'm covering them all. So I will be going in order of Edo Pro, which will be sorted by level, sorted by attack. Starting off the list we have King Calamity. Now, we are by the way rating their usefulness in Red Dragon Archfiend specifically. So even if these cards are generically useful, if they're not great in Red Dragon Archfiend, they'll be rated lowly despite possibly being good cards. So that out of the way, where's King Calamity? I'm blind. Why can't I not find it? There it is. I'd say this is about a B tier. It's very good in certain situations. If you can make it to your opponent's turn, it's disgusting. If you're able to just make the start of your turn, your opponents cannot do anything that turn. Which is pretty good. It's a strong card. Yeah, it's strong. Next up we have Red Supernova Dragon, the newest addition to the level 12 lineup. Well, yeah, there's no other. So where's Red Supernova? Yeah, there we go. C tier, it should have been better with how new it is. It requires very specific materials. If you want to use Chaos Ruler, it should have been way better. It's still a decent card, but it just should have been way better. It's unfair how bad this card is, honestly. Red Nova Dragon is straight up unplayable. Biggest issue with cards requiring Red Dragon Archfiend. The cards you do not play in Red Dragon Archfiend, which sounds really weird, but yeah, it's just a fact. And even then, it's not that great of a card. It realistically doesn't do much. Next up we have Ultimate Solkin, which is like low C tier. It's good in gimmicky builds, but yeah, you need to build a specific Solkin variant to use the card. When you do, however, it opens in your opponent's turn access to the entire Dragon Synchro pool like Crystal Wing in Red Dragon Archfiend. That's pretty good. That's pretty great. Now, Beach Balkan, it's honestly an F tier in Red Dragon Archfiend. You would have to make an insane effort to even summon this, and the payoff is the ability to summon a few tokens. No. Next up we have Malefic Paradox Dragon. It's one of those cases where I can't even summon this. Where are you at? It's technically a Dark Dragon Synchro, but we can't even summon this. Okay, theoretically we can run Parallel Gear and Malefic Monster, have the Malefic Monster around summon the gear. But that's just not realistic. Beelzeus is theoretically possible to summon, but yeah, it's a terrible card. It cannot be destroyed by Battle of Card effects. Other monster control cannot attack. Yeah, it's just a terrible card altogether. It's just not good, but just Red Dragon Arch. I'd rather summon Beach Balkan, and that says a lot. Nether Soul Dragon is pretty good. Its effects aren't insanely good, but they're usable. It's pretty often better than just summoning Bane, so there's that. Cannot be destroyed by battle. It has 4k attack. When destroys a opponent's monster battle sent to the grave, can attack again. Like on a monster. They do need to control monster. Which is pretty decent. It's not great, but it's playable. Tyrant is D tier. It requires T2 as a non-tuner monster, which sounds easy, but it's kind of tough to accomplish. The payoff isn't there. During main phase 1 you can destroy all the cards in the field, but your other monsters cannot attack, which just isn't enough. You only have 2500 attack. And that's about everything it does. Blowing up the field sounds nice, but given the circumstances of this card, yeah, it's just not good. Also, it's must be Synchro summoned, not must first be. So it's not like we can even bring this back with something like Red Rising. It also destroys your own cards, so if you have so I meant you can bring it back with Bane. And it's also not like it's a synergy with cards like Red Rain. It blows all your cards up, including your Red Rain. Yeah. Next up we have Bane. Nobody cared who this monster was until he put on the mask. And he's a big guy in other dead memes. You know, regardless, it's a pretty good card. It's a staple in every build, and being able to revive any Red Dragon after monster in your grave, it's pretty nice. It's pretty nice indeed. Abyss. Yeah, just honestly an S tier right now. It's basically perfect synchro for us. Huge attack, quick effect negate, easy to make. What more can you want on a monster, right? Beals. It reminds me of like Infinity Guardian, something like that. Once upon a time it was great until nowadays where people can easily just remove it without much of an effort. And it doesn't give you any advantage. No. Void Ogre. Wait. Oh, there it is. I was unable to find the art. Just above Tyrant, biggest issue you need an empty hand and spell and trap negation isn't the greatest type of negation. Biggest problems are usually monster cards. Most problematic spells, Droplet and Dark More cannot be negated by Void Ogre. But yeah, you just don't have an empty hand with Red Dragon Archfiend. So it's just not a convenient card for Red Dragon Archfiend at all. Chaos Ruler, outright best Red Dragon Archfiend, Dark Dragon Synchro in the game. Can revive itself, activate 5 to add an extender. What more can you realistically want in a card art? Savage Dragon. It's very good, it's just very hard to use. If we can summon it, we will summon it. Like literally the Magistus build has been... Is this a spoiler? I'm not sure if I uploaded it by now. But there is a Magistus build of Red Dragon Archfiend that solely exists just so you can bring this card out. And I think that should say enough, right? This card is insanely good, Omni Negate, big body. However, we need a Link in the Grave and that's hard for us to accomplish. So yeah. All Eyes Wing Dragon. It's literally unsummable for us. It requires a non-tuner clearing monster, which aren't even dark. Besides that, it's okay. But yeah, I can't summon it, so yeah. Scarlight's like low D tier. There's just no reason to play it with other better options available in extra deck. But it's not completely terrible. Like, if you run it at 1 and you don't run a bad list or anything, it's just not optimal. The effects simply just aren't great enough for modern Yu-Gi-Oh! Biggest issue that it destroys all special summoned effect monsters with equal or less attack, including your own. Its backfires pretty hard. Suppose you can burn for it with the game, but 100 Eyes Dragon this is just not the deck for this card. Plus it requires a non-tuner Fiend type, which is pretty difficult. Granted, the payoff could be decent, and if you somehow destroy it with your own card effect, you can search Earthbound Immortals. Yeah, no. This is an Infernity card, and this is not Infernity. 30 Doom Dragon, however, I placed above Beals. Still not a great card. It requires a Dark Tuner plus 1 non-tuner monsters, which isn't impossible to do. And if you have no cards in your hand, you can select the monster both controls, destroy it and inflict damage equal to half its attack to your opponent. And only this card cannot attack, so if you just change it to an Abyss, you know, it can still attack. It burns a little. I suppose there are situations where I could theoretically use this, but I just wouldn't run it. But hey, feel free to run it if you want to, it's not impossible to summon. Hot Red Dragon Archfiend. All the monsters cannot attack during the turn use its effect, which is one of the biggest issues with this card. However, it can destroy monsters regardless of attack, it doesn't target, so... It has its uses, It's not a great card, but it's not terrible either. Normal Red Dragon Archfiend, better version of this card exists, so there's no reason to play it. Besides being cute, and yeah, no. Blackwing Dragon, it's completely generic, but it doesn't do anything useful. I suppose if you expect some kind of burn strategy, then it has its uses, but yeah. Not exactly great. Ah, it's placed below normal Red Dragon Archfiend. Black Feather Dark Rage Dragon, however, I could see somehow being part of a strategy. So once per turn when you take damage, you can send up to 5 cards from top of your deck to the grave. And then if any monster is sent to the grave by this effect, this card gains 400 attack. If you have a reliable... pardon me. If you have a reliable way of triggering this, it's an additional way to get cards like Red Rain into your grave. I wouldn't play it, but if you can somehow find a consistent engine, I suppose there's a place for this card. But yeah, I just wouldn't play it. Dark End Dragon, you know, is a pretty good card. It's, if you're not going into Chaos Ruler, you're most often going into this. It's a pretty decent card. It requires a non-tuner Dark Dragon monster, which is very, very easy, and a generic tuner. Once per turn you can target the monster point controls. This card loses 5 for the attack and defense, and you send that target to the grave. It's not destroying, but sending is just great. Plays around some stuff. Losing attack and defense is fine, so you're climbing into a bigger one if you are using this card. Supreme King Dragon Clearing. If somehow using some weird pendulum build, you can summon this, otherwise it's going to be impossible. If it's Synchro summon, it can destroy all face monster opponent controls. Everything. Doesn't care about what. It's supposed stronger than Red Dragon Archfiend. And before damage calculation, if this card battles the opponent's monster, it can destroy that monster. Which, and deal some burn, which I guess is nice. Realistically, we're not summoning this, but I mean, if we were able to summon it, we might summon it. Buster Dragon does stuff with Buster Blader, and we don't play Buster Blader. We have no reason to want to play it either, so to the bottom we go. If there are no better level 7 targets, we would play Exploded Dragon Ring. However, there's a bit of a better target. Pixie Dragon. Which is a terrible card, but it's generic, completely generic level 7, so due to its stats, it gets a position on this list. If you need level 7 Dark Dragon Synchro, you're playing this, otherwise you're not playing it, but yeah, sometimes you do need to play it, because certain combos demand it exists in your deck. Moon Dragon Koala, we cannot make this, this requires Supai, you don't play Supai. Red Rising Dragon is just another part of the core and heartbeat of this deck. Granted, if you had to choose between keeping Gale Ruler and keeping Red Rising Dragon, I would like to keep Gale Ruler. But Red Rising Dragon is just an insane card, and I'm really glad it exists. It makes this deck so much better. Next up we have Mud Dragon, fusioning in Red Dragon Archfiends. Hello, we are locked to Synchros. Samsara, it's level 5, that's all I have to say about it. It's terrible, but it's level 5. Phone of Pulse Dragon, no. Follow my Twitter, which no longer exists, by the way. What else is still here? Epic. But yeah, this was my tier list of Dark Dragon Synchros. If you disagree, that's fine. Sometimes people just disagree, that's how life works. Hope you all enjoyed the video though. Have a beautiful day. Goodbye.